Greetings, Super Kratos here, and I am in Arcane Showdown, and I want to show you what I consider to be a set of fatal flaws in the game Arcane Showdown. Stuff that needs to be fixed for this game to really be playable. Uh, yeah, just to be playable. Um, now, what you'll see, I'm going to show you a replay. What you'll see is that I make some mistakes. So it's not that I'm playing the game perfectly and oh, the game it was stacked against me. That's not really what's going on. But you will see that well, anyway, we'll get into it. You'll see that there are some issues with the game. Now on replay, we can in a second here we'll be able to scroll around and see everything. You can also see what your opponent is playing. So my opponent is using the mana crystal strategy here by playing the mana crystal in the back. My strategy is based around having just enough tier 1 units to be able to absorb an initial rush while I try and get to tier 3. And my opponent seized the central mana vein there right at the beginning, which forced me to play my beacon in the middle, which I did not want to do, but I kind of had to. And that put me a little bit behind. And then I'm just what I did is I went to tier 2 as soon as I had an overflow of mana, which is roughly what my opponent did. And then I will do he's playing more mana crystals. Then I got cute here, and this was a waste of mana. I went for the mana beacon here to push my opponent's play area past my mana vein there. So now my opponent can't play right on top of my mana vein. So I respond to his initial goblin rush here, and then he's gotten to tier 3 before I have. And now here's the issue. The issue is now how do I respond to this? Because that Heckhound there is pretty powerful. And now here's where I'm going to rewind. How do I rewind? There we go. So I'm going to rewind. Let's watch that again. So So I've played some stuff. He's played a whole bunch of stuff, and I did not play my Ice Dragon fast enough. And see, he's got a Dragon Slayer. And here's one of the fatal flaws of the game, is the game is a little bit like rock, paper, scissors. So now, hang on, pause. So it's a little bit like rock, paper, scissors. So my strategy is based around the Ice Dragon plus Ember, the big red fiery dragon. And if I can get both of those out at the same time, generally I can cruise to a victory. Now he happens to have the Dragon Slayer in his deck, which is really not that great of a card except against dragons. And so, like I said, this is like a rock, paper, scissors game, where if I don't have the Ice Dragon, he's basically wasted a slot in his deck. If I do have the Ice Dragon, then he can crush me. So now the game starts to snowball, where he's accumulated charge for his Guardian, and so now his Guardian Ember, he's able to drop it. And from here on, I do not have a chance to win. Now, he's got all this stuff out there, and how do I respond? If I were to drop Ember right now, it would just get destroyed. So I've got to, and he's started to play over here. So I had to drop my Ice Dragon. I actually waited until his Dragon Slayer and all of his units were attacking my tower, and that's when I dropped my Ice Dragon, so that the Dragon Slayer would not be targeting my Ice Dragon immediately. And then over here on this side, I'm waiting for him to get within range of my tower, so my tower can assist, and it won't just be my Guardian all by itself. If I play my Guardian all by itself, it will get destroyed here, and very quickly. With all that he's got there, it can all attack Ember, and so I'm stuck. And this is the problem with the game, is once you get behind like this, it starts to snowball, and it's very, very difficult to come back without So I've got my options are I could play a whole bunch of stuff way back behind my mage platform, and maybe hope that I can accumulate enough that I can counteract his charge. That might work. The problem is most of what I have will move too quickly, and it will get out there and attack, and it'll trickle towards the enemy, and will just get destroyed as it trickles. So the problem is I cannot play fast enough. I cannot play enough quickly enough, uh, and uh, all my units can be attacked before they can attack back. And so very often when he's accumulated this many units, he'll just kill all of my units before I can kill his. So anyway, so I managed to get rid of at least his heck count. Now, look at that. I've dropped my Ember, and the problem is it's targeting all the small units. I wanted it to target his Ember first. But it's very, very difficult to position your Ember in such a way that it targets the unit you want it to target. So it targeted all these little units first, and it could have taken out my opponent's Ember, and then my tower probably could have taken out the smaller units, and also my Fire Drake could have done that. Now he's accumulated enough charge that watch, he's going to drop his Ember over here again. At this point, I do not have a chance to come back. So I take a moment, I calculate how long it's going to take me to accumulate the mana I need, and the cooldowns of all my cards, and then I concede. Let me go back. Can I go back? No. So there is one critical moment in the game where I lost it, where I lost the game, and this is the problem. It was a mistake of mine, but the problem is there's no way of coming back if your opponent is at all skilled. You just cannot come back. Here we go. So for one thing, I probably delayed going to tier 3 too long. So that was one issue that I had. And the other issue I had was I played my Heckhound before he too early. I should have played it further back. And it's going to happen here pretty soon. Come on. So he's going to drop his goblins here. There they are. So his goblins were a higher level. I don't think I have a level 22 card in my deck at all. So that was another issue. He kind of out-leveled me. And then I play some stuff further back to try and... Right there. Notice how he basically has my Heckhound destroyed before my Heckhound really can do more than one or two attacks. That, in my mind, is the main fatal flaw of the game right there. So it's hard for me to play anything fast enough to drop, to have it materialize, and it's going to be hard for me to, and because things take damage before they can dish it out, they're often eliminated too quickly. So the Heckhound is a perfect counter to a group of enemies like that, but the problem is it'll die too fast. So even though it's got a lot of HP, it takes all this damage. It's like half of its health is gone before it makes its first hit, and that is a problem. Other games usually give a brief moment of immunity to a unit as it's materializing. I don't necessarily think that's fair either. It's like you got to find this middle ground where it can dish out its first hit as it's receiving its first hits at the same time. It needs to be simultaneous. It's the only way to make it fair. If you don't give it the immunity, then the game favors a snowball. If you do give it an immunity, then the game favors defense. So you got to decide which one you want to favor. This game definitely favors the snowball. I just find that irritating. I hate favoring snowball. I don't even like it when I'm the one winning. When I'm the one performing the snowball, it just feels cheap. It feels like I just don't deserve to win. Like I win by default. And so anyway, there is Arcane Showdown and its fatal flaw. Well, a combination of fatal flaws. Uh, you know, Once the snowball gets started, if the player is at all skilled, it's very hard to come back, and that's just all there is to it. So what I should have done this game is I should have absorbed more of a loss before I played my units initially, and then maybe I would have had a chance, but probably not. Yeah, I still don't really understand why my Ember targeted. I mean, if I can't get it to target the right units to begin with, it just makes it very hard to hit a horde of enemies like that, because you just don't know what it's going to pick out of all of that. And most of the time I find it picks exactly the units I don't want it to hit. And it's just very, very frustrating. And then and that's why I just give up. I'm like, forget it. I'm not going to go through the agony of getting destroyed. I'm just going to concede.